All right. All right. So I think this is live. Just let me go check it out. Bit of a newbie when it comes to the StreamYard thing. But hey, we'll get there. So quick look. What do we got here? Make sure we are live. Channel. There we go. We are live. Boom. It is a working. So, kia ora team, and welcome to Big Boys Boxing. So, no particular subject today. Anything goes, seeing who's about. And I'm about to drop an invite in the chat for anybody who may like to join. We'll get on from there. So, you may hear a bit of background sound, but it is what it is. You know, my missus went back to work today to get a couple of days stock take before they open on Tuesday next week. So I'm at home with the kids. I am, as usual, a stay-home dad, but I'm also a school teacher at the moment, which is proving to be a little more difficult than I expected. That's just for my 7-year-old. My other boy is about to turn 5 on Sunday, but he'll be missing school for a while. But man, this online learning, I think primary school teachers should get a lot more money than what they get. It's frustrating, man. So, link to join is coming. Just a sec. There it is. And I should be able to pin this to the top somehow. The Boxing Jedi in the house. Good to have you in, brother. Good to see you. Yeah, hit that like. That's right, brother. That's right. I'll pin this to the top here so it doesn't disappear on anybody. So up the top there is the link to join. Anybody can join. I don't know if I can get any music going in the background on with StreamYard. I'm about to find out. Just give me a sec here. Find some media. Open file, open, no, we want open folder. Because I already have a playlist organized for YouTube that's non-copyright material. Alright, hold on, y'all. Almost sorted. What do we got here? YouTube music. And I will select today's sounds will be my dramatic playlist. So I can hear music in the background. Let me know in the chat if y'all can hear that at all. So back to the chat. Right, here we all is. I should stay on the StreamYard window in case someone comes in. Man, I've already used this once before, so if someone pops in, forgive me if I take a little to get you to join, because I'm a newbie. So, what's going on with everybody? For those of y'all who don't know, we got Adam Fahey in the house. For those of you who don't know, we got the news a couple of days ago that New Zealand is going to be coming out of level 4 lockdown, and on Tuesday or midnight on Monday, we will change to level 3. So some people are going to be able to go back to work. Manufacturers, laborers, all that sort of things able to go back to work, but no cafes, no restaurants. They're all going to stay shut, so we don't want mass gatherings of people eating in the same place. That are from different bubbles and shit. So um, it's a bit of a step down, but the government's also asking that anybody who doesn't absolutely require their children to go to school, keep them home. And it's only primary schools that are opening at this stage. But we've had pretty low infection numbers the last couple of weeks. The last week or so, we've been in single digits for infections. And last I looked, we had about 1,500 confirmed COVID cases, but over 1,000 recovered. So currently, we have less than 500 cases of COVID-19 active, and the lockdown has worked. It's certainly reduced because we were getting 60, 70, 80, 90 people a day getting diagnosed with this COVID-19. I think we've had like 12 deaths, 7 of those from one rest home, and all of them are elderly. So, man, for me, if we do this lockdown level 3 for a couple of weeks and our numbers still keep going down, we're going to get relaxed some more. And you know, I know it's wishful thinking, but I would like to see Junior Farr versus Joseph Parker. They can fight. It is in New Zealand. No one has to come into the country. It can be broadcast all over the world. If New Zealand gets to the point where we can have mass gatherings to a degree, then we can have a fight in-house in New Zealand, keep our borders closed, and broadcast all over the world. Now, it's not a fight that I'm really clamoring to see, but I definitely want to see some fights. I mean, I'm starting to get a few withdrawals, starting to get a bit shaky. I'm sick of watching my kids fight. Found myself when I was out for a walk with the family the other day, looking around, see if I can see any cats fighting or dogs fighting. I need some fight entertainment, and I'm not one to sit down and watch a whole lot of fights that I've already seen. I hate knowing the outcome of a fight before I watch it. So it is what it is, man. I'm keen to see boxing come back, um, but in a safe manner at the same time. Phil Carl Roberts also in the house. Good to have you in, brother. Um, can somebody let me know in the chat if y'all can hear any background music or not? I'm not sure how the StreamYard thing works completely yet. I'm still getting the hang of it. This is only the second time I've used it. So please let me know in the chat if y'all can hear the background music. No music. Okay. I wonder how I do that. I'll have to have a bit of a tutu. And for those of you who don't know, tutu is a Māori word for fiddle. So I'll have to have a fiddle with it at some stage. I don't know how to run it, so I can turn the background music off then for now. So the other day I tried to do a stream for the announcement, and I used my phone as the mic, but it didn't work very well. So I rambled about a few things on that stream that nobody could hear. So I might as well ramble again. The other day we had Deontay Wilder come out, break his silence, and didn't really give us much, but he did say the one thing I took from it was he's probably going to have a couple of new faces in training camp, which for me is a good thing. He needs some improvements. He needs to make some changes, and if bringing in a new trainer or just some new advice from another angle does him good, then I'm all for it. I want to see Deontay Wilder improve. I don't want to see him get his ass whooped so badly again. I want a competitive fight, and we're just not going to get it if he doesn't make any changes, in my opinion. So he didn't give us a lot besides a bit of an excuse. That wasn't me in there. I was a zombie. People saying, "Where's the excuse? Where's the excuse?" That's another excuse. But he hasn't done most of the excusing himself. He mentioned after the fight that, you know, maybe my suit was too heavy and took my legs away. That was as far as he went. It's not him himself bringing out all this Glovegate bullshit. So yeah, it is what it is. One other thing I will say though is he's never congratulated Tyson Fury publicly and accepted the loss like that. So, I mean, still now he's not accepting the loss. He also said he doesn't consider Tyson Fury a champion because there's still one fight left, which is an okay point of view, but it's not the point of view he had when Anthony Joshua got beaten, when there was still one fight coming. He was calling Andy Ruiz the champion at the time, so it's pretty contradictory. He's moved the goalpost to suit himself, with him not recognizing champions. So, but either way, it's going to happen. They're talking about October, but I'm skeptical that it's even going to happen this year with this COVID-19 thing around. And even when boxing does come back, the big fights like Fury Wilder 3, I imagine they're going to be put off until they're allowed to get a crowd in. They're making millions of dollars off the gates, so they don't want to lose that money. There is the argument that maybe more people will buy pay-per-views because they're all stuck at home, but I can see the promoters. Bob Arum keeps coming out with it. He keeps saying these big fights are going to have to be pushed back. What did he say? I saw let's see if I can screen share and we'll go and have a look. How did I do it? Let's have a look. We go this one. There we go. We go that one. And where did I see it? There was another one here I saw. WBC resolution. It wasn't. Here it is. Arum. Unfortunately, Casanero versus what? Unfortunately, Inoue versus Casanero will have to be pushed back or pushed on the back burner because they want that gate money. So, you know, I see this is going to happen with quite a few fights, in my opinion. But it is what it is. So, all right, get over to this chat, see what y'all are talking about. What do we got here? Phil Roberts. I can't hear music. Yeah, okay. It's all good. No music. Past stats. A torn bicep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, he didn't actually say he had a torn bicep in the fight for that one. He just said that he's had surgery on it, so he can't train right now. But whether it was torn in the fight or not, he hasn't specified. And I don't know how much it would have affected him. From what I've seen, it looks like the left bicep, so it's his jab hand. How much jabbing did we see Wilder do in that fight? Not a lot, eh? But that could have been maybe due to him injuring it in the early rounds or something. I don't know, man. Wilder needs to stop with the bull. Yeah, moo. He said things happened 15 minutes. Well, he said he lost the fight 15 minutes before he got to the ring, didn't he? So I don't know why you would come out with something like that. Man, if I was having issues just before a fight and I went in there and got my ass handed to me, I would stand up and say, shit, man, it wasn't my night tonight. I got beaten by the better man. Congratulations to the new WBC champion. But don't forget, it's not over yet. We still got another fight to go. And I plan on getting my belts back. Something along those lines would be what I'd say. Not, oh, oh, my suit must have been too heavy. It might have taken my legs. Uh, uh, you know, I think I hurt my arm during the fight. That's why I lost. You know, or that wasn't me. I was a zombie. That wasn't Deontay Wilder. That shit for me does not fly. That's sore loser shit, man. Sore loser ass. Wilder needs a new everything. I don't know. His right hand's alright. His right hand's alright. But the best thing I would like to see done is get rid of that window looking yes man, JD's. That motherfucker's done nothing for Deontay besides find him. That's all he did. And ever since then, he's been telling him, "You are the man. Power gets you through. You don't need anything else." You know, even in the corner during that fight, all his advice was push back, push him back, and throw the right hand. Push him back and throw the right hand. You have to push him back with something. You can't just use your hands and push in boxing. It's against the rules. So, man, get rid of that window looking prick. Yes, that is another thing, Marla. And good to have you in too, brother. Injuries are catching up with Wilder. He loses again to Fury. That will probably be it for his career. Quite possibly, man. Quite possibly. But then again, I think there are still a lot of people in the heavyweight division that Wilder can beat. I definitely got him at number 3 right now. You know, I've got Fury, I've got Joshua, then I've got Wilder. And I think he beats most people underneath him as well. So there's definitely more for him there, but if he gets beaten down like he did last time in the same sort of fashion, how much passion is he going to have for the sport? And I don't think he really had a lot in the first time. He said it multiple times. He hates training. I said it multiples of times. I hate training. I just like to fight. But if you don't train, you ain't gonna win the fight, man. That's simply it. Now, he was talking in this recent interview that he hasn't been able to train and he's looking forward to getting back to training and doing what he loves. So, man, this dude contradicts himself at every turn. But at the same token, I'm sick of talking about Wilder at the moment because we got nothing. We got nothing from him. Nothing with regard to what changes he's going to make or how he thinks he can improve on what happened in the ring. I mean, he was pretty active. He had 3 fights in 9 months. So maybe that had something to do with him not all being there. But when it comes down to it, the only person he can blame for him losing to Tyson Fury is himself. So we'll see what happens once boxing comes back, and I think it's going to be a little while yet. Yes, that corner advice was garbage. Absolute garbage. Plus point Wilder got far in the game without a proper trainer. What, Mark Breland's not a proper trainer, is he? I think he's a proper trainer. He was an okay, pretty good fighter. Doesn't make you a trainer being a fighter, obviously, but he certainly knows what he's on about. But JD's is certainly not a proper trainer. Well, he is a proper trainer, but for Taibo, not boxing. I agree. He could still believe. Beats a lot of people. Just body breaking down like, yeah, definitely Muller. What is he, 30, 36 now? Something like that. So, you know, there are downfalls to having great power like Wilder does and not having a big body to support the bone structure. You know? And he's starting to pay the price. He's broken his hands a few times. He's torn biceps a few times. So it's not only muscle, not only bones, it's muscle as well. And his days are numbered at elite level for sure. And I don't believe that old saying, black don't crack. It's all bullshit. Everybody cracks one way or another eventually. Father Time is undefeated. There's a reason for that. Wilder always moves to his left on the back foot. He does. And that's moving towards a power hand. But if he moves to the left, he's also moving on to a longer jab than his own. If he's fighting Fury, I don't know, man. Maybe Wilder's best bet is just go wild in the first round and go for a big knockout and hope he lands it. But I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see what changes he makes down the track. There are a lot of basic things he has to work on. But I think there are actually too many things for him. Yeah. Well, see, this is like the ignorance that's been used throughout the career is, I've got power, I don't need anything else. You need to be perfect for 12 rounds, I need to be perfect for 2 seconds. Well, what if someone lands a punch on you and knocks you down twice in a fight and it doesn't go 12 rounds? Yeah. If someone takes that power away from you, you need another plan. If you rely simply on one tool, people are going to work you out and beat it. Simple as that. So if anybody would like to join, I think that link up the top should get you in. I'm not going to hang around too long if nobody joins in, so don't be shy now. Hit that link. Come and have a yarn. Tell us about what you've been up to in lockdown. Man, I've been a teacher. I've been getting the kids out bike riding. I've been getting out walking. The gardens are all spick and span. The lawn is all tidy. Man, I chopped up six square meters of wood for winter that had already dried. I can't find anything to do. Man, if I had a couple of big buckets of paint, I would have painted the house as well by now. But shit out of luck, man. Can't get paint unless you're in essential service, not till Tuesday. So shit gets done to a degree, but then when you need something, it's out. Adam Fahey, Big Boys Boxing. Yeah, phones work, bro. Yeah, phones work. You just can't do a stream from StreamYard, but it should work on your phone. I use my phone when I get on other people's streams for StreamYard, so it should be good. Just hit that link. It just uses your browser, so it's not like you need an app or anything. What else we got here? Fury has too many advantages. Skills. Weight, height, reach, and speed. Wilder only got power advantage. That's pretty much the way most of the world has seen it for quite a while. Yeah, once someone can use educated pressure against somebody who's a one-trick pony who has power and nothing else, then, like I said earlier, educated pressure takes away the ability to plant your feet and throw real hard punches. So Tyson has effectively blueprinted what you need to do to beat Deontay Wilder. And if he doesn't come up with something new, everybody who can fight like that can do it. Sweet, Adam. All good, bro. I have to make sure I don't miss you. Is this how you put the comments on there? Oh, we go. Show like that. I see. Cool. Yeah, Fury is definitely full of tools, isn't he? He can do a whole lot of stuff, so he's pretty complete. And working with the Kronk style, I think is going to be of benefit as well. Great. Loma starts up next door. Just give me a sec. I'll go shut the door. There we go. Back to quiet. So Adam's going to join at some stage soon. I hope I can. I hope it pops in here. I'm not even sure where they pop in, but I'll find it. Apparently, it makes a pop sound. I've heard Rafi say. So I'll get back to see what we got. Yeah, so the other day, Dillian White piped up and stuck the boot into a couple of boxes. It was pretty funny for me. I'm down with him dogging Dominic Brazil about wanting to come back to fight for a mandatory position after getting knocked flat ass, out cold, on your back in the first round. You don't deserve it. Sorry, Dominic. Joseph Parker was the other one he stuck the boot into. Does Joseph deserve a shot at a mandatory? Probably not right now. But Joseph's been calling for a rematch ever since the controversial win that White had over him. It's nothing new. Pretty much every time he's asked who he wants to fight, Dillian White's in the mix. So Dillian didn't like the fact that Joseph was talking about the rematch again. He says he's sick of all these boxers talking crap. He says Joseph Parker didn't want to fight him when he was champion, which is a load of shit. They met at a fight in the UK. Dillian's, let's fight. And Joseph was saying, sweet, let's talk to David Higgins about it and see what we can do. And then he turned around and fought Joshua. Who was he supposed to fight? A guy with a ranking who isn't mandatory, or a 2-bout unified champion at the time, and make millions of dollars versus maybe a few $100,000 at the time. I'd be going for Joshua myself. And then it wasn't long after that, they turned around and made the fight within a week. Adam's in here. Okay. Clip. There you go. You're in, Adam.
Yo.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, good. Just looking forward to Tuesday.
Yeah? You getting back to a bit of work?
Yeah, no, well, I've sort of been working on and off throughout the period here because I can work from home, but yeah, it's sort of been a bit draining, to be fair.
Yeah. And you are in NZ, I take it? You would have flew home?
Yeah, I'm home, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, just like you, been stacking firewood and gone a bit crazy, so started running, so...
Not much else you can do, is there? You got to do everything you can to keep yourself occupied, and then you run out, and it's like, now what?
Exactly. That's exactly where I was like last week.
Yeah.
What next?
Yeah, what next? For sure. So I was just talking a bit about Dillian White's comments the other day, dogging Joseph Parker about mentioning a rematch and Dominic Brazil. Like I said, I'm all down for him dogging Dominic Brazil because he certainly doesn't deserve a shot for me after getting sparked in less than a round. But what are your thoughts about what he said about Joseph?
What was he saying again? Something about like he beat him up or something, and he
I think it
needs to
was
leave
like,
it or something.
yeah, he beat him up and dominated him. He should stop prancing around his kitchen and go and fight somebody. He also said Joe didn't want to fight me when he was a champion. These guys need to shut their mouth, and I'm sick of them, pretty much.
Well, that fight was in the pipeline, but then that mandatory got forced. I remember that because Joe was in the UK at the time, wasn't he? Didn't they meet at a show?
Yeah, there was a show in the UK. I can't remember quite what show it was. But,
It was some sort of show. I remember it was at I don't know if it was a Matchroom show or not, but yeah, I can remember them meeting and a bit of stuff going on after that, where he said he just didn't want to give him his shot, but yeah, he sort of left that and went to AJ after that. So he sort of make 2 million on pay per view, or make, but what do you make? 8 million, 9 million?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what the conversion was. Apparently, I heard it was 13 million New Zealand. So,
Oh yeah,
that's about 7 or 8 or something like that, isn't it?
well, at that point in time, maximum would have been maybe 4 million New Zealand dollars if he fought White.
Wow.
Because at that point, White hadn't fought on pay per view yet.
Yep.
Or
And,
as the A side fighter anyway.
Yeah, I think the only number one ranking he had at the time was probably the WBC, but he might not have even had that at that stage. It was a while ago.
Yeah. You know, I don't really read too much into it. Like, to be fair, it's just sort of as a situation where White sort of put him into the Who Needs Him club. It was an extremely close fight for two guys who didn't really have a full camp, and everyone sort of knows what happened with the wee head clash and that in the second round, and that sort of balanced out the fight quite a lot. And I can see Joe's point of view from having a head clash and being concussed for 10 rounds to still be able to be nearly a draw. I can see why he wants to fight.
Yeah, same. I mean, most people that I have spoken to that did enjoy that fight would like to see it again. Not necessarily because they think the result was wrong, just because it was a competitive fight and it was full of action. So that's my view as well. I'm not saying Joseph was cheated. Shit like this does happen in boxing sometimes, and we just got to live with it. But I think a rematch is called for in close fight like that, where it was competitive and there was a little bit of controversy. But yeah, both guys can make good money out of it. But I do agree that maybe Joe needs to do a little more before he gets a shot at a mandatory position.
Oh, wholeheartedly, yeah. But like, if you look at it now, well, the first instance I can remember was that Charlie Edwards instance of the low blow. If the WBC had that video replay, that knockdown, which happened in the second round, could well have been ruled a non-knockdown.
Yeah.
And obviously you deserve your 5 minutes or whatever, but if that wasn't a knockdown, even however the rest of the fight continued, it would have been a draw.
Yeah. So it's calls for a rematch in my eyes.
Well, White's fast running out of other opponents because he won't get Joshua for probably at least a year. He definitely won't get Fury until the new year. So if he wants another fight at the end of the year, he's really sort of got Hunter, Parker, or slim pickings then.
Kuzman? I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely running out of choices. And I had one person say when Dillian was out with these comments, they said if White was to dump the Povetkin fight and fight Parker, it's a step backwards. In my opinion, I think it's neither a step forwards or backwards from Povetkin. What are your thoughts on that?
I reckon both of them beat Povetkin, to be fair. I think Joe does a far easier job of it than White would. I sort of see Povetkin as like a 3-round elite fighter. and then he really starts to sort of slow off quite quickly. I reckon a lot of top heavyweights now would be able to stop him in the sort of 8 to 12 rounds. Again, with that Hunter performance, I really picked Povetkin to knock him out because I've got a few opinions on Michael Hunter, but yeah, I was surprised that he actually went as well as he did through that fight.
Okay,
because
fair enough.
that was quite competitive. But yeah, I just sort of he's probably got one more performance in him, I'd say, before he retires. Because what is he, 41, 40?
Yeah, 41. I think his birthday's September. He might be 41 in September.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think he's on the slide as well. That Hunter versus Povetkin fight I thoroughly enjoyed, and I was a little bit surprised at how quickly Hunter tried to come out of the gates, but he kind of paid the price in the second half of the fight for doing that, didn't he?
He most certainly did, yeah.
I think most, including most fans, but most fighters would think that a guy of Povetkin's age is going to wear out after 6 or 7 rounds, but he seemed to have the better tank than the young man in that fight. So,
yeah, Hunter did get quite badly hurt in that 6th round as well. I remember the ropes held him up, mainly because I had a bet on the round 6 KO. But yeah,
yeah,
I seem to remember that.
So these views you have of Michael Hunter, I'm interested to know what you reckon, mate.
Well, I think he's a quality fighter, but I just think he's quite open to be tagged. And when you're dealing with sort of heavyweight power, like for example Joe, he's not the heaviest hitter in the heavyweight division, but if he still gets you clean, then you'll start wobbling. And yeah, I just sort of think he's a wee bit open. And if Povetkin, an old dog, can sort of do that to him, someone with a bit of fight, like a White or something, I can just see doing that tenfold.
Yeah, fair enough. I kind of had a fairly high opinion of him after I saw him fight Usyk, and I went back and watched a lot of his old man's fights. He's pretty much a carbon copy of it, and I thought, yeah, he could give a lot of guys trouble in the heavyweight division, but he may have just about reached his ceiling.
Yeah.
So we're getting a decent gauge on him now, and being that much smaller than a lot of the heavyweight division was always gonna have its downfalls. But I thought he could have made up with speed and stamina. But after watching him slow down in that second part of that Povetkin fight against the 40-year-old, I'm thinking to myself, maybe he's not quite as full of stamina as I initially thought. Maybe that is better when he's at cruiserweight, which he's only had a couple of fights at cruiserweight too, by the way. A lot of people think he's come up from cruiserweight and didn't fight at heavyweight, but most of his fights are still at heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. If boxing does get on globally again before the end of the year, I would love to see Joseph Parker and Michael Hunter. That's a pretty decent fight, I think, and that would be the kind of stepping stone for either guy to walk into a mandatory eliminator, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
Well, yeah, Joe definitely needs that sort of name. Like if he is far next, Flores, Leopold, Winters, and Far is not a great sort of year and a half for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, sort of coming off that White loss, he really has sort of had to scale things back, and that mainly has been just through sort of bad luck with that Chisora thing and all that sort of carry on. But yeah, if he can get 2 fights in this year, then that would be a decent effort for him. Well, 2 more fights this year.
Yeah, pretty huge. And that speaking about Joseph potentially re-signing with Matchroom, because after his next fight, his 3-fight contract is run out. Would you like to see him re-sign, or would you like to see him go elsewhere?
I'd like to see him re-sign, but I've sort of had a thing. I don't quite get David Higgins' position. He's got his own management sort of group himself with his parents and accountants as such.
Yeah.
And I get that he sort of helped them on the journey and that they're good friends and all that sort of carry on. But it's sort of all this promotional stuff should just be sort of left to Matchroom, in my opinion.
That sounds like a good plan. There's no room for friends in business, is there?
Well, no, and I've seen a thing where too many people on a boat sink it, and that sort of is what's starting to happen a wee bit with Joe's career. He's not really getting anywhere. And granted, again, a lot of that come down to that illness, which is fine, but this whole back and forth between Far's management group and Dave Higgins is getting a bit frustrating.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
You'd rather it go quiet and they actually get something done than constant every second night in the bloody news.
Yeah, well, that's it. When you see David Higgins in the media all the time, you kind of wonder, is he just trying to use the media to get some kind of leverage in negotiations? When it's quiet, shit gets done, doesn't it?
Exactly,
Yeah. Message to David Higgins: shut up, ass up, nose down, and get Joseph a decent fight, will you?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if they actually, if this Far fight, if it say that is the fight that happens, if that's part of his 3-fight deal. Like, I'd seen a couple of things, and there was a couple of people saying about Eddie Hearn might let this just be sort of like a fight in New Zealand type setup.
Yeah.
And he can come back and have one more fight.
Yeah, realistically for Matchroom, I don't think they couldn't really make any money out of it down here anyway, so it's not like they'd be losing out.
Well, yeah, like that's the whole thing, because like I'd seen on that interview he did with Joe on, was it Instagram or whatever, they'd mentioned about sort of coming on down there and starting DAZN and all that sort of carry on. And I was just wondering if them coming down there means sort of New Zealand, Australia might be sort of a Matchroom sort of stable from down here.
Yeah.
And if that happens, then geez, let David Higgins run it, and Joe can just ride with Eddie.
Shit, that could be a good business feature for Matchroom. But would they want to trust David Higgins running it down here?
Wow. He's the Don King.
Yeah. Might be better off with someone like Dean Lonergan would probably be better, but I certainly wouldn't put it in the hands of somebody like a Mark Cadell or anything like that down here.
No, but if there's quite a few people or fighters, down here that you could sign that especially aren't sort of on major sort of contracts, if you know what I mean, with like no top ranked fighters, or you know what I mean. It's sort of an open market there, and you could have quite a lot of inter sort of trans-Tasman fights. Sort of opens the way. But
yeah, we've got a couple of fighters down here that have the name notoriety with the Joseph Parker, the Lucas Brown, but we've got the other guys as well, like the Junior Far, Hemi Ahio, Dempsey McKean. Who's that other Aussie? The league player's son, can't remember.
Willis Meehan.
We've got him as well. He hasn't been busy. So there's a few Matchroom could get signed up down here and make a go of it. I mean, we've got a few journeymen down as well.
Even like down in the divisions, like your David Lights and etc. Bowen Morgans.
Yeah, definitely. John Parker, if he ever gets back in the ring as well. So
yeah,
it could happen, I guess. Once this COVID blows over, there's going to be a big shake-up, and we'll see what's going to happen. So looking forward to getting past this shit and getting back to normality for sure. All right, what else have we got in the news, sir? Is there anything of interest that you'd like to bring up?
Oh, who do you reckon should train the heavyweight eating champion of the world, Andy Ruiz? I've seen links now with Eddie Reynoso. It's sort of like don't waste your time. To be honest, Eddie, he's got a perfectly good stable there of guys willing and hungry and all improving. Like, yeah, I just don't quite see it. Other than obviously being like great sparring with Frank Sanchez, etc.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
I don't think is anywhere near 27, whatever he is.
No, like 47. I think Teddy Atlas is a good choice because he's the kind of character who is going to make Andy Ruiz do what he needs to do. Otherwise, he's going to tell him to piss off. And I think that kind of discipline is what Ruiz needs if he wants to be serious about being competitive at the top of the heavyweight division. He's got to lose those pounds, man. He's seriously.
Yeah, I think Teddy's already told him to fuck off, really.
Yeah, well, I think he was invited to go and spend a couple of days with Teddy, wasn't he? So Teddy could suss him out and figure out what state of mind he's in and what he thinks Andy will or won't do in training camp. But it sounds like Ruiz didn't even go and see him. So
No.
He knew very well that he was going to be in fat camp, and he didn't like that idea.
Not at all. He doesn't mind a piece of pizza.
Yeah, but I think it comes down to Andy Ruiz. If he makes that decision where he wants to be disciplined, then there's plenty of coaches out there that could do some good for him. I don't think the coaching is actually the problem. I think it's just his eating and the way he doesn't like to train. So if he hasn't got the passion, maybe you should hang him up. I don't know, or fight Butterbean just for fun.
Yeah, well, it's sort of, he could fight Kalnacki, sort of PBC style fight, but he seems to think that he can get that Anthony Joshua third fight, and he's not going to get that until like 2025.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way in hell he's going to get that in the next 18 months.
No, well, if AJ fights him again, there's pretty much no doubt in my mind he would have to use that box and move style because he knows what happens if he doesn't. And it's not entertaining for a lot of the fans. A lot of the fans are going to say you ran, you were chicken all night, and that doesn't do anything for his reputation. So it's not a fight that he would be clamoring for. The only way I could see Andy Ruiz even getting that fight is if he ends up getting a mandatory spot. They're not going to give it to him for nothing again.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see if the WBA does mandate Helenius, because that mandatory is due to be called anyway, like now, because the last time that was fought for was September in 2018, so that's over 18 months ago. So if they do call that, then Helenius is going to be a hard one to sell as well.
Yeah, I heard a whisper about him possibly just getting called the mandatory, and I thought Charles Martin would have to fight Charles Martin in a final eliminator to get that spot. But the WBA with all those other belts as well, we don't know if a fight between Trevor Bryant and Manuel Charr, if the regular champion is going to be called the mandatory. What about Joe Joyce and his gold title as well, you know?
Well, Helenius got awarded last month the gold title. Joe Joyce had sort of vacated that. And it's sort of an interesting one, is if I've sort of given that to him to push him aside from the rankings. I'm not too sure, or what that gold belt actually is for, per se. But yeah, I think Martin was in the IBF rankings is what he was trying to get an eliminator for.
Yeah.
But if Helenius is in fact given the mandatory, because the whole commentary in that, it was all confusing if it was a final eliminator or not.
Yeah, the commentary team were just calling it a eliminator, but the winner gets to fight Joshua. I was like, hang on. It's not a final eliminator. The WBA didn't word it as a final eliminator, so shit, I don't know, man.
Because when you actually look at those rankings of theirs, Kalnacki and Helenius were actually the only two that were available, because Bryant was sewing up with apparently this Charr fight. There was Usyk's already the WBO. Who else do they have? They had a couple more in there already. Wilder's signed to fight the rematch. So yeah, all of a sudden the two next available were those two.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if that then was actually the case. But the WBA, like we've been saying, haven't said anything as yet as to what that actually is.
Yeah.
But if he is in fact granted the mandatory position, then it's going to be pretty interesting.
Man, there's going to be some people crying. A lot of people screaming corruption if he gets just allocated that spot. But it is what it is. We get it all the time, I suppose. Just gonna. I've got the rankings up. Right. So I'm gonna have a quick squiz through them. Confusing myself with all these windows. Right, WBA. So I've got Joshua as the champion, Char as the regular champion. Okay, WBA gold, Hellenius. Right, I didn't know he'd been given that belt.
Yeah, he got that last month. Yeah.
So, do you know if that belt has any kind of mandatory schedule or anything like that?
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying just before. I don't really quite understand what that belt actually represents. Yeah, I can't really find it anywhere.
You know, like the international belts and the Asia Pacific belts and things like that. Some like the regional ones have mandatories, but these ones, I don't know if it. I don't think it does. Why would Joyce vacate it? Was he ordered to fight somebody for it?
Well, he's fighting Dubois for the European
Silver.
Yeah, in the European.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe you can't have one or the other, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, because when you look on the WBA website, under their champions at heavyweight, they've got 4, which include gold champion Robert Hellenius.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
And Trevor Bryant's interim.
Oh, interim. That's right.
Yeah.
They've got him on the rankings here just as number 1. They don't have a belt next to him. So that's interesting. Deontay Wilder at 2, Usyk at 3, Ortiz 4, Ruiz 5, Kovnarski 6, Povetkin 8, Hunter 9, Derek Chisora 10. So,
because under the mandatory fights in the WBA, they still at the moment currently list Ruiz as their champion, so they haven't updated that. And the challenger is TBA, but it says there it's to be fought for by the 12th of the 2nd, 2020, which is 2 months ago, obviously.
Yeah. That was before lockdown times too, so there's no excuse.
Yes, it's sort of interesting.
So if Hellenius ends up having to fight a final eliminator, do you think maybe they're going to try and order Luis Ortiz? Because Usyk's busy, Deontay Wilder's busy, Trevor Bryant's busy. Ortiz has...
Well, yeah. I'm not 100% too sure, to be honest. But yeah, sort of it's an odd one, really.
What do you think of that fight? I'm just thinking about it. I don't mind that fight. Hellenius versus Ortiz.
I'm sure PBC will be keen to get that made.
They've been using Hellenius for the last couple of fights as well anyway, so it'd be convenient.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now Hellenius has got hold of that position and a fake belt. Is he going to want to fight somebody that threatening? Unless it's, I suppose if it's for a final eliminator, he doesn't have much choice.
Well, yeah, and unless that gold title actually sort of puts him to the side and it opens the way for Ortiz versus Ruiz as a final eliminator.
That's a point.
If you see what I mean there. So
yeah. That's not.
It all needs to sort of come out in the wash. Really, what's happening with that? because Joshua's sort of got them backed up at the moment. Like, as you've probably picked up on as well, they haven't mentioned Usyk in like the last 2 months, even though he's guaranteed he's got to get his shot.
Yeah.
They've been talking about Pulev and then going straight to Fury. Well, it's like, well, Usyk's been waiting over a year now.
Yeah. I saw an interview with Eddie Hearn yesterday. They were talking about the possibility of Wilder stepping aside and Pulev stepping aside to make Undisputed happen. And I'm sitting there thinking, hang on, if Pulev steps aside for Joshua, then Usyk is next in line. And
Exactly.
so if they try and make that fight and those, Pulev and Wilder step aside, then the WBO is still going to strip a belt and it won't be for Undisputed anyway.
Well, yeah, all you'll get from that is that you might have Undisputed for one day and then the WBO would strip them.
Yeah, if they're lucky.
And then you'd probably have the WBA want to strip them as well because they won't have had their mandatory.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Undisputed doesn't automatically take precedent all the time, does it?
No.
It depends a lot on the schedule for the mandatories and how long they have been fought for and the stipulations from the bodies too, because the WBO has said we will wait, but we have to be next. So,
well, the thing is, in pretty much every one of their rules, it comes down to the championship committee.
yes.
It's sort of like, if we say so, then yes. So it's always their out clause for why mandatories haven't taken place.
Yeah, this is the written rule, but if we don't like it, the rule changes. Funny shit. All right. Who else we got in the chat here? Hi, Ryden Smith. Good to have you in. Evie. All right. So, is there any other subjects you would like to touch on before we try and find something else to talk about there, Adam?
What was it again, sorry, mate? I just missed you there.
Is there any other subjects you'd like to bring up before we try and move on to something else?
Not really, to be fair. Haven't really caught up too much on what's happening.
There ain't much to catch up on either.
Well, probably not. No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
All right. I'm messing with my shit. I'm fucking it all up. Hold on a second. There we go. All right, so what other stories we got here? Canelo crossing fingers that September fight moves forward. Was that with Billy Joe, or was that one out now?
The September one they wanted to have was Golovkin.
Oh.
But
okay.
I think they had until, was it July or something? They wanted to have that Saunders fight out of the way.
Okay.
So they sort of had this sort of time frame for that fight, and if it couldn't be made before then they'll just go straight to the GGG one.
Okay. Is that a fight you really want to see? A third one?
Yeah, I've still got an appetite for it, to be fair. The first one I scored to Golovkin. The second one I thought was a draw, possibly one to Canelo. And that last fight that Golovkin had with, who was that against? He won the belt. Oh, Divi. Derevyanchenko, yeah. He fought that with the flu, so that wasn't sort of the type of Golovkin that we're used to seeing. So I'm just sort of quite interested to see what he actually still does have left.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody say that Canelo won that first fight.
No.
I thought Triple G won the first one as well. I did think Canelo won the second one. A third one would sort it all out. I wouldn't mind seeing it, but personally, I would rather have seen Billy Joe Saunders myself. But that's only because it's a fight I've wanted to see for a long time, just to see how the styles match up, But certainly Triple G versus Canelo 3 is interesting as well.
I wouldn't mind seeing GGG drop his belt. and sort of have a big pay-per-view thing with either Callum Smith or Billy Joe in the UK there, if you know what I mean. He can step up to 168. He's getting pretty old now, so making 168 would be pretty comfortable for him.
Or maybe Smith and Saunders could fight because they're both matchroom, aren't they?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah.
They could fight, and the winner of that could fight the winner of Canelo versus Triple G. It works for me. And the losers fight each other as well.
Yeah, I'd have no issue with that whatsoever. You also got Daniel Jacobs there as well.
Yeah, solid. So there's options. I wouldn't mind seeing Jacobs versus Saunders. It's a different style matchup too. So
yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Right, what else have we got here? Jamal Charlo, Eddie Hearn have odd exchange on social media. I haven't checked
that was weird.
Was it?
Yeah, I watched it. He got him on his live that he did. And Eddie's just sort of yelling out names of fighters that he has while Charlo just hits this big heavy bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go find that. Sounds a bit odd, all right?
Yeah, you haven't missed anything, I don't think.
Yeah, you generally get a couple of days or a week to catch up. There's not much going on, so don't stress if you don't see the news straight away. What else have we got of interest here? Jamie Conlon, Zerafa.
One comment I did see, which I found quite funny, and you might have a giggle too, was if once Joshua won the belts back in December, then that automatically reinstates his full years for mandatories, and that Pulev isn't due for another exact year from the 7th of the December or whatever it was that he won the titles back. And I just looked at my screen and just shook my head like, geez, that's enough for today.
Yeah. How's that fair on the guys who have worked hard to get to the position of mandatory?
Yeah, they've waited a year. He's lost the titles. He's won them back. We'll wait one more year.
Yeah, mandatory schedule doesn't matter who the champion is, does it? It's just due for a shot, you get it. Doesn't matter whether the champ's new or old. That's just how she goes. But yeah, that's funny. I wonder where that person picked up that information from, or did they just make it?
Yeah, I think they might live somewhere over in Europe, I think.
Okay.
Yes. Maybe where they speak English.
Yeah. Well, I spoke some English this morning. Raphael Dawkins had Rick Glazier on his channel this morning, and Rick said Frank Warren is like the Mercedes-Benz or the Rolls-Royce of UK promoters, and Eddie Hearn is like the Ferrari. He could become the Rolls one day, but right now he's the Ferrari. So I said, "Oh, Errol Spence better stay away from Eddie Hearn then," and nobody got my joke. They eventually got it.
Oh,
bad taste that one, but
Rolls Royce with the wheels off, Jesus.
Yeah, I think Frank Warren's more like a Model A.
Yeah,
a Model A Ford from a century and a half ago.
No, he's definitely what is he, a co-promoter or something of Tyson Fury?
Yeah,
even though he won't sit on the top table.
Yeah. Oh, here's a story of Liam Smith. Liam Smith frustrated with. Oh, is it Liam? It is Liam Smith. Oh, damn! I thought it was Callum Smith. Liam Smith frustrated with Kell Brook. Yeah, it's dumb. Man, I was hoping it was Callum Smith. But even Kell Brook ain't going to be fighting Callum Smith. He's too big. My bad.
Do you reckon there'll be any, this is just a bit out there, do you reckon there'll be any boxing in New York this year? I can't really see it myself.
Nah. Well, on the other side of the coin, because they've been smashed so hard with COVID, maybe they've just gotten through the worst of it faster than everybody else. Maybe they'll recover quicker.
Well, don't they have like in New York or something? There's like a third of the world cases or something stupid.
Yeah, something like that. I think over 13,000 cases or something like that. I haven't really been watching the international news too carefully because we've got our own shit going on here, you know. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I was watching some videos of Donald Trump answering questions from reporters about what he's supposedly done. And he's straight out blatantly lying about what he's done for a lot of things. And I kind of sit there and go, ha, you idiots elected this idiot. Now you got to pay the price. Unfortunately, the price at this point is lives. So,
well, the best part is when he shuffles the papers. That's when you know he's going off topic.
Yeah, I've got to move on. I'm getting cornered here.
Yeah. Where do you work from? Fake news.
Yeah, fucking funny shit. All right. Well, I suppose I've had a yarn for a little while. My kids are starting to get hungry. If there's nothing else you'd like to bring up, I guess I think about shutting it down and come back another day. So
yeah, mate, that's all good by me.
Yeah, sweet as well. Good luck when you go back to work, mate. Everybody else as well. Be careful. We are moving to stage 3, but we are still locked down. Remember, keep your social distance. Don't cough on anybody. And particularly, that guy who was in the supermarket walking around coughing on people, he got arrested. He went out on bail, and then he did it again. He got put in jail. So,
fuck.
Just let everybody know that the idiot went to jail, and I don't know when he's getting out. I think he got 90 days or something like that to think about what he's doing. But
just
don't be an
quickly,
idiot.
Just seeing a thing here. The rankings changes for the WBA. Robert Helenius won 4th round KO over Adam Kalnacki. Titles, WBA eliminatory, and WBA gold is now put in there. And then what happened in those rankings has Helenius number 7 goes out because he won the gold championship and WBA eliminator over number 4 Adam Kalnacki.
Okay.
So that's interesting. I don't know. That doesn't say it's a final eliminator at all. Yeah.
Very interesting. If you could, would you be able to drop the link to that in the comments for this video? That would be awesome, Adam.
Yeah, most certainly.
Can get a bit of research done myself and I have somewhere to start from. So appreciate that.
Yeah, just post it then. No worries.
Sweet, bro. Thank you.
All good.
All
Cheers.
right, well, thanks, Adam. Take it easy, brother.
Cheers. See you later.
See you, mate. And that is us for today. So hope you've enjoyed the little stream. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content. And I'll catch you next time. Hopefully I can be a bit more organized next time and maybe get a real stream out one day soon when we've got something to talk about besides boxers going, hey, yep. So I'm out of here. Sue.